Hello again and welcome back to the Too Deep Coverage Podcast. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different on this channel. We're going to be participating in a fantasy football league to see how well our football knowledge fares over the 2025 season. Sounds pretty easy, right? Well, here's the twist. This is a challenge league. I'm going to be giving myself some specific restrictions for building my roster, and the consequences from me will be a reward for you. Let's start by going over those restrictions. To start, I must draft my favorite team's quarterback. My favorite team is the Bears, so that's Caleb Williams. I must not draft or use any players from a division rival. That's the Lions, Packers, and Vikings. Next, I must take an AFC team defense and use an AFC team defense all year long. And last but not least, I must draft the worst projected kicker and use him the entire 2025 season as well. Now, how will you get rewarded? Well, after each loss in the league, I'll be adding $5 to the giveaway pot and continue to add through the 17 games in fantasy in the regular season. For each game I win, I'll be adding another person to receive that amount of money from the pot after the last game of the season. So, let's say I win 5 games and I lose 12. That means 5 people will be receiving $60, so it'll be a $300 giveaway. My goal: win at any cost, without breaking the rules and saving my pockets in the meantime. Your goal: like and subscribe, that way you have a chance to win your share of the challenge pot at the end of the year. But first, I have to talk to you about my friends and partners over at W Energy. Since 2021, they've been making the safest, cleanest, best tasting, crash-free energy drink on the market. This American-made, clean formula energy drink is made to give you a long boost of energy and concentration with no crash or slump afterwards. All flavors are unique and made by W, so you'll never find our taste anywhere else. With multiple limited time and hydrating flavors, you'll always find your next favorite with us. With all drinks having no sugar, no fillers or artificial colors and dyes, no secret or hidden ingredients, and of course being gluten-free, W is the best drink to hit the market in years. With every drink averaging out to be just $1 each, your pocket and body will thank you for making the switch to W Energy. Whether you want to switch it up daily or stay committed with your favorite flavor, W has all the products you need, from packs, tubs, and even cans. Be sure to use the link in the description to get your starter sampler pack or whatever amazing product you choose with an extra 10% off using my code TWIZZLER. It's like the candy, but with the two Whizzler. Add some energy and focus back into your life today with W Energy. Into our challenge, as you guys saw in the intro, we have quite a few restrictions, quite a few rules in this fantasy league. We're pick 10, man. We're pick 10. But as the rules state, we must draft Caleb Williams, since that is our favorite team's quarterback. We must draft the worst projected kicker. We must select an AFC team defense, and we cannot have a single division rival player. So, we can have Josh Jacobs. I've had him for the last 3 years, whether he was on the Packers or Raiders. Can't have Justin Jefferson. Draft starts here in about 2 minutes. I think what we're going to do is just go ahead and we're going to pick Caleb first, since we have to. Let's get that out of the way. Because if we don't do any or all of these, we no longer are even eligible for the challenge. So we need to make sure that we get Caleb first. Pardon this video interruption. We have some breaking news. Come and join the new Twizzler Discord, a place to hang out with friends, make new ones, and find a like-minded community. Find new people to game, chat, or even debate with. We have everything you want and need, from Minecraft, Call of Duty, Fortnite, GTA, and our special areas to watch and talk sports. Be sure to join today and stay up to date with the community and all the content we have. Follow the Linktree link in the description, and we'll see you soon. Back to the video. Our 2 deep challenge. Guys. So we do get 2 back-to-back picks, which is honestly probably the thing that is gonna save us. But anyway, Jahmyr Gibbs first off the board. That is weird. No offense. Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, Bijan, Christian McCaffrey 5th, 9th pick. Here we go. We're coming up. Let's just get Caleb. He picked Malik Neighbors. Let's pick Caleb, and then let's go. Let's go Ashton Genty, bro. Let's go Ashton Genty. As good as Jonathan Taylor, I'm sure, is going to be, the last thing we need is somebody to get injured. So I think Ashton Genty is probably going to have one of the better years. Let's pick him second. Ashton Genty, our first running back from the Raiders. Okay, so now that we have our first objective checked off the list, drafting Caleb Williams as our quarterback, we have our running back. I think what we need to do next, since we already kind of blew a pick with having to get Williams, is getting a wide receiver early as well. All right, guys, we're next up. It's looking like we don't have very much left here. We have T. Higgins, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams. We have a Week 5 and a Week 8 bye week already on our roster, so we want to try and stay away from that, especially drafting early. We want to make sure that our best players are all on the field except for one at a time on bye week. So, Jane Daniels was just picked. So, T. Higgins is great. Tyreek Hill is great. Devontae Adams is great. But the problem I have is that none of these guys are really number ones, right? T. Higgins, Tyreek Hill. Okay, you have Jalen Waddle, say 1A, 1B. Devontae Adams has Puka. Jackson Smith and Jigba is, like a second or third year player with a new quarterback. I just, I'm not really too confident in. Terry's a 30-year-old wide receiver. Imagine he gets hurt. I think what I'm going to actually do is go for somebody who's going to have a breakout second season. And we're going to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. He was one of the top picks last year in a lot of fantasy drafts and in the real-life drafts. So I just don't see a way that MHJ doesn't have a better year, especially with Kyler having some more to prove. Didn't realize it was still me. I forgot I had 2 picks in a row. We're going to go Kyren Williams here. I was really thinking about it, but we're going to go Kyren Williams. This is our current team: Caleb Williams, Ashton Genty, Kyren Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr. I did mess up on those bye weeks. I didn't even realize until after I picked the picks that all 3 of them have Week 8 byes. Okay, so just to look ahead here, it looks like who we're going to pick for our kicker is going to actually end up being Andre Schmeitz. Mike Evans made it. I think Mike Evans might actually end up being our best option at wide receiver 2. I mean, he shares the record with Jerry Rice for 11 1,000-yard receiving seasons in a row. So, that's who I'm going to pick. Why? I don't know why my auto pick would be Mike Evans, but that's who my auto pick is going to be. Mike Evans, wide receiver 2. Now look, we're in a good spot. We can go for tight end, flex, defense, or kicker. We know we're going to have the worst kicker, so nobody's going to pick him. We have to have an AFC defense. We have plenty of those. A flex player, maybe a wide receiver, or a running back. But I think this is what we need to do. I think we need to take a tight end now. Because if we look at the board, we have 30 seconds to do this. And we look at roster view, Kittle, Bowers, and McBride are already off of the board. So those are the best 3 tight ends. So we need to make sure that we pick well here. We can't pick Laporta or Hawkinson because they're in division. That's against the rules. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick the next best available, Travis Kelce. All right. Our skill positions are mostly full. So I think what we really need to do is, since these guys have auto picks, there's 3 auto picks, a lot of the better players towards the top are going to start getting picked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on filling this flex spot and then getting my next running back, since we're trying to get the best available players here. And since the 2 best are in division, we're going to have to step out again and find somebody that might not be somebody that we really want to have on our team. So we're 3 picks away. One of them is an auto, so for sure one of these top 3 players is going to be gone. Most likely Williams. But if he picks Williams, then it'll probably be Ridley. And then Pickens will go. And then we have Rome. All right, we are on the clock. Our auto pick is George Pickens. We are looking to fill this flex spot. I think that looks like our running back is going to end up being R.J. Harvey, maybe Pacheco. I don't. Like I said, he looked bad last year after he came back from injury. Is what people are saying. Emeka Ibuka, we're good there. We will leave Chris Olave, Ricky Pearsall, Michael Pittman. Yeah, I think we're gonna leave them there. We're probably just gonna let's take George Pickens. He's got Dak throwing to him. I just think it's probably for the best. Now let's look at a running back. Because running back is tough. Again, we have to skip over the top 2 available picks. 3 week 8s, 2 week 10, so we have to stay away from week 10. Let's go RJ Harvey, man. He's going to be a 2. Everybody's going to have a breakout run once or twice a game. Let's just say this guy ends up with 50 to 75 yards a week. And on the weeks that I'm picking him, he gets me those 75. So yeah, let's go with RJ Harvey. We're gonna have our 3rd running back on our roster. We really just don't want to lose depth. Defense will be there. Let's check it out. I don't think a defense has been picked yet. All right, guys, we are on the board. Let's go with Michael. You know what? No. Let's do defense. Let's just do defense. I am going to go with the Broncos. I'll tell you guys why real quick. My grandpa was a Broncos fan, and plus they had the best defense in the league last year. So what are you really going to do? Now, let's try and find the worst ranked kicker that is starting and not injured. It looks like Andre Schmitz. Let's draft him. He is now the Browns starting kicker. All right, guys, so our starting board is now full. Caleb Williams, Ashton Genty, Kyron Williams. Really, let's say Ashton Genty is like 3/4 of the prospect that he was in college. That's a great pick. I mean, let's say half. Let's say he's half of the man he was. That's a 1,200-yard rusher. Kyron Williams, the starting running back on a Sean McVay offense that is with a hurt Matt Stafford. I mean, that guy is going to get fed the ball. One of their strengths in LA has been offensive line for a long time, so I'm hoping that they're healthy at the beginning of this year and at the end of the year because, man, they were really struggling. Marvin Harrison Jr. should have a breakout year. Should be more comfortable with his coach. Should be more comfortable in the NFL. Should be more comfortable with his quarterback. And they should be able to kind of feed him a little bit more. I know Trey McBride is going to be a big asset to Kyler, so hopefully on longer plays and down the sideline, MHJ can really come into his own. Mike Evans, what a man. 11 seasons in a row with 1,000 yards receiving. Even I think last year he ended up with like 1,005. So I think if you average that out, it's still like 70 yards a game. Let's say he averages 6 yards a catch, so 11 PPR with 70. He's getting us about 8.5 points a game, 10 points a game, 12 points a game. When he has touchdowns as well. Great wide receiver, too. Travis Kelce is our tight end. He's looking faster. He's looking nimbler. He's looking like he actually has a chance to have a little bit of a career resurgence before he retires. Probably will be one of his grittiest seasons. He might have a couple of games where they need him, and he'll have 170 yards, and there'll be games where he's able to relax, and he might have 30 yards. So it's going to be very interesting to see which weeks those are. Going to our first flex spot, George Pickens now wide receiver 2 in Dallas. Now, I think that George Pickens is actually probably going to get the ball a little bit more than CeeDee Lamb, since CeeDee Lamb is, still so prolific in the Cowboys offense. That's what they're going to be game planning for primarily, especially since they don't really have tape on how they're going to play Pickens, kind of having 2 edge guys or putting one of them in the slot. I'm not really sure how they're planning on playing Pickens, especially having Schottenheimer as the coach. I just don't really know how they're planning on doing that. So I think that he's actually going to end up having, he might end up with 2 1,000-yard receivers on the Cowboys this year, especially since their running back room is just abysmal. We might have a lot of jet passes, might have a lot of wide receiver screens, since we're not going to have a lot of halfback screens and stuff. Don't have a lot of speed or power in the backfield, so the edges and the slot are going to be the most important for the Cowboys offense this year. And George Pickens is going to be a big part of that. That's why they brought him over. We started with the Broncos defense because, like I said multiple times, they had the best defense in the league last year. And I'm not going to give the chance away to have the best defense in the league, especially when they got better with Greenlaw and Ofunga. Alright guys, so I did let the auto picks run for the last few picks. I just wanted to go over the roster one more time. It is late on Wednesday night. We got less than 24 hours before this player right here is on the field for his new team. Let's go over this real quick. Caleb Williams, that was our challenge for drafting our quarterback from our favorite team. Ashton Genty, okay, look, he had a breakout season. He was a Heisman finalist. If he puts up 40% of the numbers, he'll have 1,000 yards rushing this year. So just kind of think about his potential. Even if it comes in his second or third year, you're going to see a lot of it coming this year. Kyren Williams on the Rams is going to be one of the better wide receiver running backs in the NFC West. So that's going to be exciting. I'm honestly pretty excited to see how he does this year, especially since Stafford is hurt. He's going to be pretty important out of the backfield. Quick passes, easy stuff. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think he's going to have his breakout year this year. He still did very well. He almost had exact perfect stats to his father's rookie year stats with, a fumble, one single fumble, same amount of yards in the same ballpark area. He did really well for his first year, and just kind of underrated because he's on Arizona. They didn't really do much in the division. I think if they sneak into the playoffs or get there with a wild card, I think there will be a lot of talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. this year. So I got him as my wide receiver 1. We got Mike Evans as my wide receiver 2. He is Mr. 1,000 yards this season, so I'm expecting to get at least 3, 4, 5 100-yard receiving games out of Mike Evans. He's 1A or 1B. We'll see if he loses a step this year. We'll see how good he is off of the line. But I think Mike Evans is going to be a great asset, especially playing in the NFC South. They play the AFC South this year. A lot of easy teams, at least 9 games playing against the bottom half of the league teams this year. So you got to feel good about that, especially when Baker feels the most comfortable throwing to him, especially with Godwin. I don't think he's coming back until a couple weeks into the year. So we're just looking great with Mike Evans as our wide receiver 2. Our tight end, we did end up taking Travis Kelce. We took him because the 2 best available tight ends were from rival division, and we cannot take them. So we held true to our challenge, and we did not take the best available. We took Travis Kelce, who was the best in our rule set. Then we got our flex player, which I have is George Pickens at the wide receiver role. In my opinion, he's probably going to be better on this team than his old teams because they haven't had a good quarterback with a big arm to really go and make plays, especially now that he has a little bit of distraction off of him with CeeDee Lamb. I think that George Pickens is actually going to have a great year for a number 2 or a 1B type, kind of like a T. Higgins character, if you think about it that way. He wants to show out for his contract year coming up at the end of this year when he becomes a free agent again. So I think George Pickens has a lot to prove to himself, to people from Pittsburgh, to the new teams that want to get after him. When his deal comes up, he'll probably end up being one of the highest paid wide receivers, especially if he can produce on a team with CeeDee Lamb. We took the Broncos defense because we had to have an AFC team defense. We ended up picking them because they were 3rd in scoring defense last year, one of the top, if not the top, defense in the league. last year. Sean Payton and the Broncos, I expect them to have a great year, probably second in the division. No offense to Harbaugh's, but I just feel like he's pretty conservative. So unless he kind of opens up the throttle on Herbert this year, they're going to struggle. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I do not have any Chargers players on this team. I do not consider the roster very strong. I don't think many people do. They weren't highly rated even as prospects in the fantasy pool. So anyway, we got Andre Schmitz. Not a clue. Okay, and this is another part of our challenge. We have to take the lowest rated kicker at the time of the draft. He had the lowest projected season total out of any kicker that was not injured. So there was somebody that was lower, but they were injured. So I believe that's why they were lower anyway. But let's move on to our bench. Okay, I did have to change a couple of things on the bench. It did auto-pick a Green Bay Packers player, and I did throw up in my mouth just a little bit. I got rid of them instantly, and I ended up picking up Xavier Legette instead. So let's start from the top. We have R.J. Harvey. He is our bench running back. He is looking pretty good, actually, to be honest. I mean, 13 points. I mean, when we need him to fill in on a bye week, I mean, he is going to help us a lot. You know, with 13 points when our normal running backs are getting 15.5, right? So that's great. Xavier Legette, he's about a 10-point wide receiver. He'll be great for a flex spot on weeks where we have buys. We have Travis Etienne Jr. He got auto-picked as well for another running back depth. Really not too bad. He's going to get a lot of touches this year. With Chuba Hubbard, I believe it is. They're going to be running the ball a lot, especially if their offensive line it gets any better. Colson Loveland. I got him auto-drafted as well, but I kept him not only because he's a Chicago player, but because I feel like he's going to be using a lot of chip and release type passes, you know, kind of like a Travis Kelce type. You run, you knock somebody, run into somebody, block for a second, run a good 10-yard route, pick up some yards after the catch because he's so big. I just think that he's going to do great on this team. I know Cole Kmet kind of got a cold shoulder when they drafted him, but I think they kind of know, like, hey, Cole Kmet, like, you're going to mentor this guy because you are so good. Moving on to finish, we have two more running backs. We're probably going to end up changing throughout the season. We're going to end up doing trades. We're going to end up doing things like that. Rashad White from Tampa Bay, and then we have Trey Benson from Arizona as well. So we did end up getting a lot of NFC players. It looks like we have 6 out of 15 players are from the AFC. So a lot of NFC players. It's a good division. They have a lot of depth on a lot of these rosters, but I'm really excited to see the team that we have and see how they perform. Let's go to my team here. The matchup for week 1. Looks like we're projected to be about 6 points behind Davin's driven team. All right, it's looking like we're going to lose. He has the quarterback advantage most of the time. No offense to Caleb Williams, unless he really picks it up. They are going to have the advantage. I think that's part of this challenge is that you don't want to just pick the best quarterback like Josh Allen if you have a high pick. You want to pick your favorite team's quarterback and build around them. If you have to have, you know, better receivers from other teams because he's not going to throw a lot of receiving yards, whether he's, you know, having a lot of rushing touchdowns, so maybe you need to have some more rushing touchdowns from other players as well to kind of stack those, try and get as many as possible. Looks like Genty is better than Derrick Henry projected, which is crazy, but they're playing New England instead of Buffalo. And then he's got the next two with Jonathan Taylor and Jamar Chase. Of course, they play Cleveland. Cincinnati does, so I expect them to do better. Marvin Harrison Jr. plays in New Orleans. I honestly think that he's going to have a breakout game there. They just do not have a lot going on down there. They might be looking to get Arch Manning if he can perform. Okay, but then we have the next two. We have Mike Evans as our wide receiver 2, has projected to do better than Devontae Adams week 1. And then we have Kelsey, who is topping over TJ Hawkinson from Minnesota, who was actually projected higher than Kelsey, but we couldn't take him. He was one of the people that we couldn't take. Then his flex player is Alvin Kamara right now, 15.7 points. I mean, we're just going to wait till about week 6 when he gets hurt, and then this dude's team is going to crumble. The Packers D, we want to make sure that we kill them this year. Of course, as a Bears fan, you have to. And then every week we're going to be at a disadvantage with the kicker because we not only have a worse kicker, but we have a team that the kicker is on that is going to struggle to move down the field and get into makeable field goal range consistently. Okay, so that is our starting. That is our starting lineup for now. I think that we actually have a great chance to win a lot of these games, especially since a lot of these players are more like breakout players. Marvin Harrison Jr. can have a 30-yard game or 130-yard game. George Pickens, 30-yard game, 130-yard game. Travis Kelce, 30-yard game, 130-yard game. Ashton Genty's probably going to break off a lot of runs, or he can just really struggle against bigger, stronger opponents. So we'll just see how it goes. We're at a disadvantage. That is the point of the challenge, okay? We're trying to have fun with this. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you with an update next week, probably Wednesday as well, maybe Thursday morning. Watch out for the podcast coming most likely Monday night during or after Monday Night Football. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.